Welcome back to BullyBall, a San Francisco 49er podcast. Today we're going to recap the 49ers versus Raiders nail biter. Our predictions were way off on this game, but crazy game. 49ers pulled it out in the end. We're going to dive in. We're going to look at the highlights, tell you guys what we were thinking about the game. So you know what? Let's dive right into it.
Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, check up on my ear. Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, I'm about to cut.
All right, so you got, your three hosts that you've been seeing lately here with us. You got me, Joseph, my brother Alex, and our dad Daniel. We run BullyBall, a 49er podcast, and we're going to tell you guys our bully of the week. We're going to talk about the game today. Don't have the graphic for bully of the week yet. We'll have that out tomorrow on our Twitter. But we'll let you guys in early on who our bully of the week is. 49ers get into a crazy, pretty much offensive shootout with the Raiders and their backup quarterback. What were your guys' first thoughts on just how that game went down?
For me, I was a little shocked. I always thought Carr kind of held back the Raiders, but I didn't think the rookie was going to come out that good, so I'll give them credit. That quarterback looked like he's pretty legit.
He's a fourth-year quarterback. He
fourth year.
He was behind Tom Brady, and then he went to the Raiders, I believe.
First year ever actually starting, though.
Yeah, I don't know what round he was drafted in or anything like that, though.
Hey, I'll give him some credit because he came out and, he played good. He looked pretty good. I'm one of the ones that I don't listen too much to all the statistics. It's good that we were holding teams down to points and we were holding them to so many yards. I think it's always good before you make a playoff run to get those monkeys off your back. The undefeated teams, sometimes it's good to get that loss out of the way before the one that really hit you, hurt you. So, I believe me, I did not want to give up that many yards to the Raiders. But I think it was good just to get all that shit out. We wanted to see what Brock Purdy would do under some pressure, and we seen he could come back. If we get that kick at the end, we don't even go into overtime. Brock did his job, and he did his job good. It wasn't beautiful, but he did it really good. And I'll give the Raiders some credit. They played a hell of a game. I think they outplayed themselves. That's all I got on that one.
Yeah, it was an extremely interesting game. I don't think anybody would have guessed that that's how that game would have played out, an offensive battle like that. And like my dad said, the Raiders quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, had a hell of a game. Looking at the stats here, he had 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, which I wouldn't say were his fault necessarily. It was more the D-line getting some pressure and some not bat downs, bat ups, I guess you could call it on the one pick.
Tip passes.
But yeah, he played really well. Very surprising, The defense, for the most part, held their own when it came to rushing the ball. But receiving-wise, crazy. And like our dad said as well, Brock Purdy held up. He showed that he could win. He could lead a game-winning drive if he needed to, and that he could respond to some adversity, because this was the first time in his 4 or 5 starts that he was actually behind coming out of the first quarter. So it was good to see that. And it was good to kind of just get this experience, a tough game, one where your defense isn't really holding up like you're used to. It was good to get that out of the way now rather than in the playoffs. This game was not meaningless to the 49ers, especially with them locking up the number 2 seed, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it definitely wasn't like a huge game that they had to win. So it was good to kind of get that out of the way now.
Yeah, and the 49ers win 37-34 in overtime. Most rushing yards they've allowed this season but Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher with only 69 yards, 34 yards to Stidham, and then Brandon Bolden 32 yards. All of them over 4 yards per carry, though, which is the big one. Rush defense, they were a little lacking this game, but, the big weakness looked to be the DBs this week. They really, they were struggling. And it didn't help that Jarrett Stidham looked to have some swag to him because he wasn't getting touched by the D line. So, those things go hand in hand for us. But we're going to dive into these highlights and we'll talk about how we were feeling at that point in the game and what was going on and things like that. But yeah, very, very shocking game. I think I said it was going to be 40-10.
Yeah.
And 49ers almost scored 40, but the defense gave up hella points. So
Yeah, that first play is tough, giving up that throw to Darren Waller. It looks like Hufanga bit again on the run and kind of let Waller get behind him for that touchdown, which is unfortunate. Hufanga's kind of been struggling lately. I feel like his biggest strength is also his biggest weakness in that he plays the run extremely well, but then it also comes back to bite him in the ass. He's taken some weird angles and stuff, some bad angles, which you would like to see improved. But yeah, that first drive was way too easy. You can see they scored in less than 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So, it's not something you like to see.
yeah, and I did see something today. It was some random dude on Twitter, but he said that this play wasn't actually Hufanga's fault. It was supposed to be Demo Lenore taking the first vertical threat down the field, and Hufanga is supposed to be playing the number 2, which I believe, I forget from the post that I saw, but it would have been like the fullback or something out of the backfield. But yeah, from here it looks like it's Hufanga, whoever it is, coverage bust, and like we said, it looks like a major problem after this game, and not obviously the Raiders have a ton of weapons, but their O-line isn't nothing to write home about. Jared Stidham is an unknown, which is kind of a good thing because there's no film on him. But at the same time, you're letting a guy that hasn't played much do this to you, so that's not a good thing either. How did you feel after this first drive, Dad?
For me, we always kind of start off slow. Remember yesterday I was saying if we don't beat ourselves and have that broken up play, this was one of those kind of plays I was talking about. So I was a little disappointed because it was too easy. And sometimes when you have a quarterback that you never know, you don't know how to prepare for him. He came out and balled out though, but I was disappointed in that. We made it too easy for him, and I felt like that was one of those broken plays like we seen against the Rams when we played them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's jump back into it. It'd be annoying when they be showing these wives of players all the time and stuff when they're new.
It was ridiculous.
They
That
showed
was
her at least 10 times
15
in the first
times. Like,
quarter,
come
in the
on.
first half. Yeah, great run right there. The run game was going all day long for the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey was eating. Thank God he won me my fantasy football championship. He had 19 carries, 121 yards for a 6.4 yard average and a touchdown. Should have had more. Should have had at least like 2 touchdowns, if not 3. So
Yeah, he should have scored on this play. I think if he stayed, I think he could have beat this guy to the corner. I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like he could have beat him to the corner and he shouldn't have cut back, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. So the 49ers, right after the Raiders march right down the field, pretty easy drive, kind of methodical, just like the Raiders, easy score. How'd you feel about that drive?
Yeah, another good one. It was good to see the offense be able to respond and show that we're not like a lackluster day for the offense, at least like it was for the defense. So it was good to see him respond, kind of get all facets moving. You got the run game, you got the pass game, kind of building off of each other, which was nice. And then, like you said, just a easy, methodical drive down the field to answer right back.
Anything, Dad?
I agree. I think a good team, sometimes both sides play good. Sometimes one side or the other plays better. Our defense is usually always pretty good for us. This time the offense had to carry them, but a good team will still find a way to win. I did like that drive because we answered right back to them.
Yeah, and it was kind of one of the last question marks we had, is how would Brock Purdy play from behind? And he did that a ton this game, as well as can this offense score points to keep up with the team, because that's what they had to do in this game. And both of those were answered. And the Raiders are 6-9, but I believe I'm pretty sure I saw either all 9 or like 8 of those games that they lost were by one score or less. So,
Oh yeah.
they're not a terrible team. Obviously, they're missing people, but that's just something to think about as well.
Well, I might be wrong. It might have been last year, but didn't they even beat KC this year?
I'm not sure. You'd have to
Or
look it up.
Maybe.
but they are a pretty legit team. I think when Carr went down, we just kind of wrote them off like, oh shit, they're done. That's it. But they, like you said, they lost at least 4 or 5 of those games that I seen right at the end. So they should have been a 10-win team.
Yeah,
They could have been in the playoffs.
and their offensive weapons are up there with pretty much any team in the league. You got a top 3 tight end, you got the best wide receiver, you have arguably the best running back in the league this year, at least stats wise. So, it's any given week in the NFL.
Bosa even said too that they kind of underestimated Jarrett Stidham as well. So yeah, that play right there, great play. That throw by Purdy, layered throw to get it over those defenders and the other receivers, to get it in the back of the end zone right there to George Kittle. Just amazing. Get out of the pocket, since Hawkins just delivers a dime in the back of the end zone to Kittle. Was great. I mean, that was probably one of the more impressive throws, in my opinion, that we've seen from him. Just to have the accuracy, the touch, to lay that thing right in the end zone, get out of the pocket, was just it was crazy. That was a super impressive throw.
And rolling left with pressure, so he had to turn his whole body to get that throw over people. It's funny because in this game, I'm always on Twitter during the game, seeing what people are saying as the game's going. And, after that play, everyone's like, all right, I've seen enough. This dude, he's the guy. He knows what he's doing. Like, there's no debate. And then as the game keeps going, then you see the people start to, oh, well, it's just funny because after this throw, everyone was like, yeah, this dude's special. Play it one more time.
Yeah, super impressive. Another good response to a Raiders score. I think they got a field goal, so it was a good response. Get a touchdown. This play, what are your thoughts on that play, Dad? The one to Devontae Adams.
That was the one that at first it looked like he didn't get his toe in, but then when they showed it, he did.
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those players, man. Adams he's legit. He's legit. He makes those catches that you always talk about, like, oh man, the greats make these catches, the greats do this. You got to give hands down. He's legit. He helped
Yeah.
he helped the quarterback look a little better than what he was by the catches he was coming up with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not many receivers that make that catch. And Charvarius Ward was in pretty much as good a position as he could have been in. Like that had to be the perfect throw and the perfect catch, and it was. And it was unfortunate that it happened to be right before halftime. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Like you said, Mooney Ward wasn't just perfect. He was in, like, you can't play that any better. It looked like Devontae might have got a little push off to get some separation there at the end. But, I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it. You can't really stop that.
All right. So the 49ers go into halftime down 17-14. How were you guys feeling at halftime?
I always get pissed off when we give up points right before. We're talking seconds. So I was kind of still like I was worried because our defense didn't really show up. Like they were doing whatever they wanted to do with us, and we're not used to that. So I was still at that point. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be one of those games that no defense come. So I was still a little bit, uneasy right there at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. You give up that touchdown. Defense is not looking like they can hold up for anything. They're just allowing these dudes to get whatever they want on them. I was concerned going into halftime. We're getting penalties. Uh, usually, I expect our defense maybe to give up an early touchdown and then kind of lock back in after that. But that didn't happen this game, so I was definitely concerned going into half, especially being down as well.
Yeah, and I was concerned, but we got ball after half, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, offense looks like it's moving well. We should drive right down, take the lead, and then we're back in the lead in this game. But I'm pretty sure we came out and went 3 and out. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, all right. This might be bad now. And then that leads us to this drive here.
Yeah, just inexcusable. Another broken coverage by our defense. Like, just shit you can't have. You know what I mean? You just can't have this type of stuff. I don't know whose responsibility it was, but Devontae Adams being that wide open was just inexcusable. I don't understand why at coming out of halftime why Mooney Ward wasn't shadowing Devontae Adams because he's done it before for us this year. He shadowed the other team's best receivers before. I don't understand why he wasn't doing it now because we clearly need it. Demo Lenore was getting picked on all game by everybody. Darren Waller mossed him. Devontae Adams was destroying him. So at least give us a fighting chance to put Mooney Ward on him, get physical, press him. But that didn't happen, and then you get this broken play. It's just inexcusable by the defense, and it's kind of concerning because this has happened more than one time in more than one game this year. So it's kind of concerning for me going forward. What about
Yeah,
you?
and
I would have liked to seen us go in at halftime, come out and make some adjustments. Defense has to be able to adjust. If it's not working, figure it out and make that adjustment. We're talking about our coach, going to be a head coach for somebody. He's a prospect, one of the top ones. Good coaches go in there, make adjustments, come out, and then you can see the difference. The difference of game plan comes out, and then everything changes. We never did that.
yeah. And I could see a broken play, whatever, somebody gets open. That's fine. The best wide receiver on the team should not be the person that gets open. He should at least be bracketed or something, double coverage. He should not be the guy breaking what a 60-yard touchdown. And, another concern is the 49ers throughout the whole Kyle Shanahan tenure have struggled with mobile quarterbacks. And Jared Stidham he didn't look necessarily mobile, but he was definitely able to extend the plays. And like we saw in this play, evade the pressure and get out. And the 49ers have always had trouble beating teams that could do this. So, the Raiders at this point look to be exposing the 49ers defense. And I think we're going to see this type of stuff happen in the playoffs. These other teams are going to look at this film and use it as like a key on what to do.
Another thing that's kind of concerning, and I was telling Dad this throughout the game and kind of throughout the week, was it seems like with this team, if Nick Bosa is not going to get pressure, then our defensive line just isn't really going to get pressure. You know what I mean? Like nobody else is bringing that juice to get pressure on them. Like if Bosa's not, then the team's not. It's kind of a weird thing that happens, but that's definitely concerning and something that we need to figure out.
Definitely. So one more time. I don't know why. Let's see. This looks to be, one of Hufanga's issues is he gets too impatient and shoots his gun. You see Devontae Adams go right here. You're not having Dre Greenlaw cover Devontae Adams. You see it's a broken play. You don't need to run up at the quarterback. Let him get 5-10 yards. But watch Hufanga right here. With him, shoots his gun. Now he's wide open. And now you just got Jimmy Ward chasing.
Yeah, just inexcusable. You can't have that, especially once you get to the playoffs.
And he kind of threw off Greenlaw too, because Greenlaw sees him in phase with him, and then he says, "Oh fuck it," and goes, and then it's like, "Oh shit!" All right. Now he's wide open. Terrible.
Yeah, and this is like we said earlier, CMC was eating all day. JP Mason, when he got his opportunities, he was eating. The run game was open all day long. I don't know why we weren't running the ball more, to be honest with you. There's a couple plays where I definitely thought we were passing where we should have been running, but we actually ended up passing. So I don't know what was kind of going on there. I don't know if just Shanny is so confident in Purdy or what, but there's definitely more times where we should have been running that we passed.
Yeah, and you're down 24-14 at that point. Good to see, nobody panicked. Just a nice response to the touchdown. And like you said, the run game was opening huge holes the whole game. (21-24). Let's see if no, they didn't do another angle.
Yeah, I think this is what would probably be the most concerning for 49er fans. Something that I kind of touched on throughout the week with my dad, kind of messing around with him in a little bit. But is the arm strength of Purdy. You can tell that it's not 100% there. It's not like a Trey Lance arm or anything like that. But there's a reason why he was drafted in the 7th round. Pretty hard throw to make. He's rolling out to his left, throwing across body to the right, like past the right hash. You wish you would have got some more air on it, let him out a little bit more. Just underthrown, forced it. Something you would like to see. You wouldn't like to see. You'd like to see him correct it. Just an unfortunate play. Bad timing, too. The timing, at this point, I definitely thought we were going to take the L, to be honest with you. Wasn't looking too good. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree. I think he forced it. I think we've seen him make a couple long passes, but I think he has to get the full windup in there. If he could set his feet, get the full windup, he can make a longer pass. But I agree with Alex. It looks like he doesn't have that arm strength for some of those. I was hoping he did, but I think that's where Trey has him. Trey has the arm. He really doesn't if he can't get the full windup.
Yeah, and we saw it a few times in this game. This was the first example. Got a little greedy. We're on the 50-yard line, driving to go take the lead or tie, and he throws it into what was that? Double coverage, triple coverage, or was it just one guy?
I think it was one guy, and then one of the corners was dropping back though, so he kind of read the play. And Brock Purdy said after the game that he didn't see that corner dropping back, the guy that ended up picking it off. So
yeah, and he's got to put that ball probably about right here.
Yeah.
Kittle makes that play if you put it over his head and he has to make a hands catch over here. You put it too low, you have the cornerback that he didn't see. It's just that his arm didn't get it there. Died on it.
But this is one of the things that we can expect from a rookie QB. This was the things that Jimmy was still doing all the years he's been in. We kind of expected that we'd see some of this stuff from Trey. And now with him, Brock, we see it. And we got to remember, he still is a rookie. But what I like is he comes right back and he lets that go and comes back to keep playing.
Yeah, and we had said in our group chat at this point, we're like, oh shit, Shanahan's gonna shell up. The 49ers ain't gonna be throwing the ball anymore after this, because that's what he would do when Jimmy would throw a bad interception like this. But as you can see, that doesn't happen.
That's the play of the game right there. That play single-handedly changed the momentum, and just was a huge swing for the 49ers in favor of the 49ers. You know what I mean? Like, that play was huge. Kerry Hyder being able to get his hands on the ball and kind of hit that thing up in the air, then Drake Jackson catching it. That swung the momentum, put the Niners right back into the game, especially with the Raiders kind of driving down the field a little bit as well. I think they were at midfield already. They had a 3-point lead. Look, it wasn't looking like our defense was going to stop them, and then we get that huge play, and that just swung the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and both of those players were inactive last week. Kerry Hyder was injured, and Drake Jackson was just a scratch on the active roster last week. So you love to see a play from two dudes that weren't even suited up last week.
What are your thoughts on that play by Ray Ray? I know you tweeted out something during the game about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so first off, I love the play call. The way it's designed here by Shanahan, kind of similar to that one that he threw the touchdown over the middle to Kittle, where he looks left, looks right, but kind of different here. Pretty similar to that one with last week where the dude was rushing off the edge and in his face immediately, and he throws a
Mhm.
slant to, I believe it was Ayuk, like in half a second. But great play call. And then, this is the second time in recent weeks that we've seen Ray make a huge, huge play with the ball in his hand. So, and it's weird because those are the only two plays we've seen of him. So it's weird to not see him get more manufactured touches if this is what he can do with the ball. So I feel like he needs to get some more manufactured touches in the offense, because when Debo's in, they expect Debo to get those. They don't expect Ray McLeod to get those, as we've seen twice now. So I think, get him some of those manufactured touches. This dude is doing good things with the ball. What do you think, Dad?
I agree. I think he's a little mini Debo. He's proven himself. Like, I don't understand why we're not giving him more touches. He has the speed. He has good hands. I think we need to get him involved a little more. He's a baller.
Yeah. And I'll say he's been very, very underrated as a returner this year. A solid 10, 15, 20 yards per punt, kickoff. He's doing a great job returning as well.
Alex keeps saying he's going to break one. Watch, he's going to break one. He's like one tackle away from
He's been
getting
close.
there. Yeah, he's going to get one.
Almost getting cut off here.
This play too is huge. McCaffrey just making plays with the ball in his hands. That's that bully ball style that we talk about. That run, the physicality, trucking that guy, like just decleating him, making a play on 2nd and 10, making guys miss. Dan Brunskill getting out there, stretching, like jumping to block that dude was huge as well, which kind of sprung this play. And just McCaffrey making plays with the ball in his hands. That's what the 49ers traded for. And he's just been a great player for the 49ers this year.
Yeah, and I had said when the 49ers were was it when the 49ers traded for McCaffrey, or was it before the season when we were arguing about what the most important position on the 49ers offense was?
Before. It was before you
Before the
brought it up.
season, I had said running back is the most important position on the 49ers offense. And, your counter argument to that was, well, look at what the 49ers are able to do with, these low level, low end, like lowly drafted guys. And my argument was, if the 49ers can do that with those lowly drafted guys, undrafted 6th rounders, whatever, and get production, imagine what this offense could do with a top tier, top 3 running back in the NFL. It would just elevate the offense to a totally different level. And, we've seen that just in these past 9 weeks, being undefeated with Christian McCaffrey. Dude is insane. How'd you feel about Brock Purdy on this play, Dad? Because, some quarterbacks don't get this throw off. I'll play it again. But, some quarterbacks get sacked right here because, he has a dude flash in front of his face pretty quick.
Oh yeah. No, Brock, that's one of those things that he's playing like rookies don't play like that. That's a vet move right there. We know Jimmy would have got taken down. And like we said, we talk a lot about Jimmy, but Jimmy did a lot for the 49ers. So we're not always bagging on him, but Jimmy would have held on to that and would have took a sack right there. All game, Brock was out because they have who's Crosby?
Yeah, Max Crosby.
And he a couple times he was on him where we were like, oh shit. And boom, got away, got the ball out. He was making big moves right there. And that was one of the big moves that you want to see from a quarterback. And didn't panic, got it out, and then look at what happened. Huge.
Yep.
you know. And then that next play, our guy, JP Mason, we've been screaming it since the preseason to give this dude some more reps running the ball. Look what he does there, breaks a few tackles, gets a touchdown, tough running. Great compliment to Christian McCaffrey. He still needs more carries. I don't understand why he's not getting more carries. You know, I get McCaffrey is like when he's in, so much attention is focused on him. But still, JP should be getting some runs between the tackles. You know what I mean? The dude's downhill, explosive, fast, like perfect running back for that. We just need to feed him more. We need to feed JP Mason the ball more.
Yeah, dude's a fantastic back, and that's one of your undrafted guys. But hey, that's a highly talented undrafted running back. I don't know why a team didn't draft this dude. That's nuts to me. How do you feel about him, Dad?
Yeah, I agree. He's legit. I think you could give him 10 more touches and that'll save CMC, 10, 15 touches. So then they're both just as fresh at the end of the game. Because at the end of the game, we kind of started looking a little tired on a couple plays. That would even us out where we're just as strong deep in the fourth quarter or overtime. And you're not losing much with him. I mean, look at that run right there. That wasn't an easy run. It wasn't a broken play. That was a great run right there.
Yep. One thing that I've noticed, obviously we haven't watched all 22, but just from these highlights, like you said on that play before, Brunskill was the one that, broke it open for McCaffrey. And then this play as well. Watch him here. Let's see. Right here. Another great block to let Jordan Mason get past the line. And, he's coming in cold. He hasn't played many reps. And I'm pretty sure they said left guard is the least amount of reps he's taken at any of the O-line positions in the NFL. And, I didn't see him miss a beat. So you love to see it because Aaron Banks might be out for the season, might be out a couple of weeks. We don't know yet. So you love to see that.
Yep, definitely. What are your thoughts on this play, Dad? I know you had some comments about it earlier.
For him to be able to come down with it, like we said, great catch. I was watching some TikToks earlier today, and they were showing that right before he was coming down from the ground, his hands kind of twisted and the ball kind of moved right there right before it hit the ground. So, I mean, really, I don't think he had possession of it, because when they had to been locked in the air and then go close to the ground, where when it went to the ground, it didn't really bounce or nothing, but the ground did hold it the way his hands were. And it rolled right before, so he never really had full possession of it. But still to come down with it, great catch. I think it could have got reversed, it is what it is. But our guys, that's one of those plays, our guys got to bat that fucking ball away. Bat that ball, get it out of the, swipe it down, get in the arms. Like those were the plays that were driving me crazy last night on the defense.
Yeah. And, you're under 2 minutes in the game here. This is where you let them complete those short throws. If they're going to drive down the field, it's going to be on all short throws. They're going to chip away. There is no way in hell you give up a 60-yard bomb under 2 minutes in the game. Like, that is the one thing you take away, and they gave it to him. Like, I understand that was hard to cover for Demo because it was kind of short. He was able to slow down, but no, it's unacceptable. He was getting beat all game. And, we didn't see many of those plays on this highlight video, but like when Waller mossed him, and then he got beat by this dude like 3 times. Like he got beat by that other guy. What's his name? Mac Hollins. It was a very rough showing for Demo and Hufanga, but it's been like that for a couple weeks now, and that's looking like a big issue. Especially with, like you said, there's no pressure being applied at moments in these games. So
Yeah.
how do you feel going into the playoffs with this? Like you're gonna be playing teams that can really throw the ball. Even right off the bat, you've got maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe the Lions, and they're throwing the ball around hella good. Might have to play the Vikings, Cowboys at some point. How do you feel after this game going into the playoffs against those teams?
Yeah, I would probably start looking to get Jackrabbit Jenkins some reps there at corner and see what he brings to the team, to the starters. He's a veteran, had a lot of time in the league. Even Dante Whitner was saying that too after the game, that they should look at Jackrabbit Jenkins a little bit, just see what he could give you, because you can't get much worse than how Demo played this last game. You know what I mean? You cannot get much worse than that. Let those two kind of battle it out. You have this last game you can kind of use as like a measuring stick, see who can provide you some better level of play, and just whoever's better start, because can't get much worse than what Demo did right there. And it looks like it's going to be a big liability going into the postseason against those teams that can really throw the rock, especially with Hufanga not playing as well over the top either. So
Yeah, and this game kind of was reminiscent to me of what year was it? Last year? Was it last year when we had who was that bum? Not bum, but the guy we picked up off the street.
Josh Norman.
No, but even the other one. He was playing against the Colts, and he got mossed by Michael
Against
Pittman.
the Colts. Oh, the one dude that got ran over too by
Yes.
against the Cardinals. That was
Yeah.
Was that last year? Yeah, that was
He
last
he
year.
was another old vet. He was another old vet like Norman, but I can't remember his name. But that level of cornerback play is what I saw in this game, and it gave me some PTSD. I ain't gonna lie
He
to
had
you.
dreads. The guy had dreads.
Oh, was
Drake
it? Was it?
Kirkpatrick,
Yeah,
right?
Drake Kirkpatrick. Yeah,
Yeah, Jesus.
and he was a good
That
player
wasn't that
back.
bad. This wasn't that. Demo was not
Hey,
that bad.
when he got mossed by Waller
No,
in
but
this
Demo can
game.
at least come up and make a tackle or something. That dude was that Drake Kirkpatrick was terrible.
But yeah, so they got to do something to improve that, man.
Trey Kirkpatrick was like on the level with Brian Allen or that other corner against the Dolphins that one year. Yeah, this
Easy
is where
touchdown.
that's where you miss Dre Greenlaw. Hopefully he's good. Probably should hear something soon about his back, but that's where you miss Dre Greenlaw. Z's just hasn't been playing up to par, up to that level that he was last year. Fred, didn't have the best game. He had a PI on Darren Waller earlier in the game. That's where you miss Dre, though, right there, making those stops.
Yeah, and Fred Warner had that pivotal face mask that I believe was on this drive, wasn't it? That led to them tying it.
I think so.
They went 3 and out, but he grabbed the face mask on third down, led to a touchdown. One thing these highlights didn't show though was the 49ers goal line stand. 49ers have been pretty phenomenal on the goal line, and if you've seen that play on Twitter or anything, Eric Armstead he's playing at an all-pro level as a run stopper. Just tossed the lineman out of the way, held up another lineman, created initial contact with the running back. It was a phenomenal play. That dude's been playing lights out against the run at least. since he's been back. So that's a
Pretty good
welcome
against the
addition.
pass too. Just hasn't
Yeah.
gotten the sacks, but gotten a lot of pressure.
And another good showing from T.Y. McGill against a pass. I saw him in there quite a few times. He blows by a guard or the center quite a few times a game. So it skipped right ahead to OT, but that last drive the 49ers had, I wish they would have showed it here, but Brock Purdy hits Brandon Ayuk like 4 times in a row, like 15 yards, 10 yards, 10 more yards. And the last throw was a very bad rookie mistake. He got hit, the ball flutters in the air, and it probably should have been an interception. We just got really lucky. But talk to me about how you guys felt about Brock Purdy, leading a game-winning drive, tied up with less than a minute left, and Brandon Ayuk making huge catch after catch after catch on that drive that led to a missed field goal.
Well, right before that, was that the one that took us to overtime? This drive here, was this the one where we missed the kick?
No, this is in overtime already. They skipped that drive that we missed.
So that one, freaking gold, man, killing me. We could have won this without even overtime. You got to do your job on that. But that's the way, real quick, that's the way our luck was in this game. I felt we had a bad game. Warner didn't have a good game. Kittle had a couple good catches, and then he missed some. Brock was a little off. We were kind of sluggish in this game. So I'm not going to fully panic yet. Like, I think we could get it back together against Arizona next week. You're going to have bad games here and there. That's why I say it was good to get out of the way. But seeing Brock march back on this and come in, I'm confident with him. I think he's our best chance right now to go in running into the playoffs. Because I was nervous. I was like, oh, shit, man, what if we could throw a pick, or what if we do this? Or he came through and he showed that he could handle pressure, because the Niner fans, again, showed up and showed out. But they said the Raider fans that were there were real loud too. So it was a hostile environment out there. The game was going. The Raiders are balling out. We're a little sluggish, and Brock stepped up and got it done. Brock showed he could play. He should have answered a lot of people's questions in this game right here.
Yeah, super impressive, to lead that drive down the field. Just shows that he's poised, when it really counts, when there's some real legit pressure on him. Shows that he can march it down the field and get us in the proper position to win the game. Good to see too, because that's when Jimmy was probably at his best, was towards the end of games. When we needed a drive to get some points at the end. Jimmy was pretty good at that, for the most part. So it's good to see that Brock can do it as well, and just Robbie let him down, But those are the kicks that he misses for some reason. He makes a lot of them, but I don't know. It's just weird. But super impressive by Brock and Ayuk. Ayuk stepping up big time into that wide receiver one role with Devo being gone. So that's what you love to see. And everybody in general, Juwan Jennings stepped up big. Ray, like we said earlier, stepped up big. So it's good to see just the guys, and Brock Purdy being that poised for a rookie to lead a drive at the end of the game. Just super impressive.
I was having flashbacks when I seen that duck up in the air of the LA championship game last year, when, who was it? Tart dropped the one right in his arms. I was like, oh shit, don't do this to us again.
Yeah. And Ayuk, 44 yards from his first 1,000-yard receiving season. So you love to see that for him. So yeah, here's overtime. Raiders get the ball first. I ain't gonna lie, I thought the game was over, because our defense was butter. They were getting sliced up the whole game. I thought they were going to drive right down, and they were driving right down. They're on the 40-yard line right here. So, Your probable defensive player of the year makes the play of the game right when you needed him. He's right here on the right end, and he doesn't get a sack, but he pushes the tackle right into the quarterback, makes him throw up a little lob ball, and then Tashawn Gibson makes the catch.
Yep, Bosa for decoy. He was pretty quiet all game, then came up in the biggest moment when the team needed him most. So, defensive player of the year.
What were your thoughts on how we went about this next play after this?
Yeah, I was a little upset. You have Robbie come out and miss one, and then you never know with the kick. I'm pretty sure we've had at least one or two field goals and extra points blocked this year.
Yeah.
It's happened a couple times this year, and when you see a bunch of people get hella close to blocking them on us. So I thought, just run the ball, punch it in up the middle, and if not, then you kick the field goal. So I was a little upset. I ain't gonna lie. How'd you guys feel?
Yep. I was saying the exact same thing as you. Run it a couple times with McCaffrey, see if you can punch it in, and then if you get to the fourth down, then kick the field goal. Dad had other thoughts.
No, I was on it too. I understand because you don't want to try to run it in, fumble the ball. It could be one of those games, but we just missed the kick. So at that point, I would have rather had it in CMC's hands, felt a little more comfortable than just going for the kick right away. I mean, because I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous, like, oh, shit. And then I think it did almost get blocked. They got close.
It did. This dude on the right end up here. That dude, he's right there.
And even Robbie, watch him kick it. He looks like he went in slow, like really trying to aim and control the kick and shit. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? But we got it done,
There you have it. Quarterback one right here, Brock Purdy. Fifth rookie. What the hell's going on? Damn it. Fifth rookie QB all time to win first 4 starts. First time since 2004. And this is pretty much his 5th win in a row because Jimmy played like 1 or 2 series of that Miami game.
That should have been Brock's game.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because yesterday I was saying, we're up here and the Raiders were right here, so I'm going to correct that. Hey guys, I'm going to give you credit. You're right here. You're right here. They did ball out though. The Raiders played a hell of a game. I think they would have took out a lot of other teams right there. They would have took it out because we killed their playoff hopes too right there. So they had something they were playing for. With Carr leaving, they were trying to come out and prove a point. They played a hell of a game. I'll give them that.
Yeah, and it looks like they might have some with Jared Stidham. I don't know if they have him under contract after this year or not, but they might have some with that dude. He was playing with confidence. He was cocky. I was getting pissed off because he was smiling hella, just throwing the ball all over on us. I was getting upset. But they have a lot of talent on that team. So, we overlooked them. Nick Bosa said the team overlooked them. So we can't be doing that anymore throughout the rest of the season into the playoffs.
Definitely.
Yep. Some big things too coming out of that was, the Minnesota Vikings got killed by the Green Bay Packers. So the 49ers currently hold the number 2 seed in the NFC, which would allow them to have home field advantage throughout or at least 2 home field games, if they make it there. And then that third one would be at Philly, if Philly makes it there as well. But the number 1 seed, still a fighting chance away. The Philadelphia Eagles probably get Jalen Hurts back this week and go up against their division foe and the New York Giants, who seems like they have good momentum, just killed the Colts. So, that should be a good game. If the Eagles lose, the 49ers beat the Cardinals, the 49ers will get the first seed, have the first round bye, and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So some big stuff still to play out in the last week of the season.
You know, one thing
Yeah.
too, it kind of shows how good we really are is Philly loses their number one quarterback and boom, they drop 2 games right off the bat, looking like shit. We didn't drop our first one. We dropped our first one and our second one, and we're still rolling. But we'll still have haters out there talking crap. That's okay. We know how good we are and how good the coaching staff and John Lynch and all them set us up, you know, because we are playing some pretty good ball right now, even though this one got away from us. We're playing good ball. We have a good, solid team. So we have a lot to be proud of. You know, all us fans with our team running like this, we're really blessed right now.
Yeah. And, you know, the Eagles play the Giants, like you said. Technically, the Giants can rest everybody if they wanted to because they can't really improve their position. So they're pretty much locked in as the 6th seed. But their head coach after their game said, no, we're not resting anybody. So we'll see what happens. Huge game for Philly. They got to win, must-win game for them. And then as of right now, it's up in the air who the 49ers would play if Philly does win and the 49ers win and they're the 2 seed. It's basically the only team that holds their own fate is the Packers. You know, Packers win and they're in. And if they do indeed win, that's who we would play. Packers lose. And then I believe it is the Seahawks and the Lions. So if the Packers lose, I believe we play the Seahawks. If the Seahawks win, I don't know. It's so confusing because I'm pretty sure the Packers and the Lions play. So I think if the Packers lose, that means the Lions win and we play the Lions or something. I don't know. It's some confusion.
Packers play the Bears.
Oh, they play the
Do they?
Bears? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shouldn't
so
be too hard for them.
yeah, so Packers win and they're in, and that's who we play. But we could also end up playing the Seattle Seahawks or Detroit Lions if a couple other games go different ways. So, you know, it's up in there who it's going to be at this point. We'll see what happens. But with that said, go ahead and tell the people who the bully of the week is if they're still watching.
Yeah, so if you're still watching this late in the video, you know, me and my dad kind of had a back and forth about who it should be. So I'll give mine. I guess we'll see who gets more votes out of the 3 of us. I'm going to say for me, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey, bully of the week. Dad, who's yours?
I'm going to say Ayuk. If he don't come balling out, Christian McCaffrey did get hella yards. He did come up big. But if Ayuk doesn't make those catches at the end and do what he did, we don't even win that game. And we're not really talking about a bully. We're talking about we got bullied.
Joseph, who's
It's a
your
tough one
deciding vote
because-
between the 2?
It's a tough one because I agree it could go both ways. You know, Ayuk made tough, gritty catches over the middle the whole game. You know, he had his touchdown catch. Dude's always out there blocking his ass off. But I agree, got to go Christian McCaffrey this week. Dude was our whole offense. He had almost 200 yards himself. He had, was it 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown?
1.
1 touchdown, almost 2 touchdowns. Picked up first down after first down, whether it be running, catching the ball, was, you know, shaking hella people off on that big screen pass, which you usually don't see with Christian McCaffrey. Usually it's just the finesse stuff. So I'm going Christian McCaffrey, but I will say Brandon Ayuk deserves an honorable mention because he was gritty and tough this week.
Yeah, definitely. McCaffrey also had that other big screen that got called back because of a penalty or something.
Oh,
Remember?
Lineman down the field, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, McCaffrey's was the one that was the big play where Gold missed the kick, right?
No, that was JP Mason scored on the next one, on the next play.
No, I'm saying when we missed the kick and had to go to overtime. Wasn't McCaffrey the one that got us like the
No,
last 15
that was Ayuk.
yards.
That was all Ayuk.
Yeah, you got the whole drive on that one.
Yeah.
That whole
Literally
drive was
every
like
play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Christian, bringing him on our team, we wouldn't. I don't even think we'd be talking about all this right now. I think we would have took some L's on the way if we didn't bring him when we brought him. He
Yeah,
rejuvenated it.
And I
definitely.
think we could also give an honorable mention to Brock Purdy for a bully of the week this week, because this dude has been evading the pressure. He's been doing some magical things. And, he faced a ton of adversity for the first time in his NFL career. And he stood up to it and led us back to get the win. So shout out to that dude as well.
Yep. 100%.
All right, that's all I got. You guys got any closing remarks for the people?
Hey, thank you for watching. Join, tell your friends. These guys are going to give out some good giveaways here pretty soon. Good content, real fans.
Yep. So I want to say thanks to my dad for chatting with us these last 2 weeks. It's been fun having another Niner fan to sit down and talk with us. You've seen him on the channel before. It's also been really fun having him here to watch the games. Him and my mom, huge Niner fans just like me. So it's been a lot of fun being able to have another Niner fan. It's been a few years since I've been able to watch a 49ers game with some other Niner fans. So it's been a lot of fun. And just thanks for coming on the channel. And maybe on every pregame live or something, we can get our dad on to be a regular with us. So
Yeah, if you guys like him being on the channel and you're still here watching, let us know. See if he has to go buy himself a damn mic and get it set up.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know how you guys felt the game went. And we'll see you maybe another time this week for a preview of the Cardinals. But if not, we'll see you an hour before the game for our pregame primer. We'll see you next time.
Turn it back.